Right, I'm going to put this this side together now. I've been let down with my switch covers, so it's getting put together at the minute with one black switch cover on it. It's easy enough to change over. I've ordered another set, but I don't know when they'll arrive, so with the weather being the way it is at the minute, there's a chance she might be able to get out on this, so I'm just going to put it together so she can use it. As soon as the new switch cover turns up, then basically I'll get it put on. But what I've done is I've changed the put the lever on the new chrome pedestal, the clutch lever. Now I never recorded it, I forgot to put the camera on and everything, so basically all I've done on these, there's a little circlip just on the bottom there. Take the circlip off, that pin comes out, the lever comes out, then the reverse to put it back together, just put the lever in, pin through, circle it back on, job done. So I'm just going to put the clutch cable back in the handlebar part, in the lever should I say. It's pushed in there. Right, and that can just hang temporarily. And now I'm just going to quickly take my gloves off. A nice greasy mess. And what I'm going to do is put the bottom switch housing in. Sorry, get the switches put into the bottom switch housing, which is that one. I should have got a little bit more organised. I've only been in here 10 minutes. Just take the insides out of these. Well, I say the insides, just the screws that hold the switches in place. Need to find the little part of the bracket, which is that bit there, and then I can put the switches on. So done correctly. Put the clamp in place inside that. I know you can't really see on there. Clamps in just in there, and then screws can go in, and I'm going to double check this before I fully tighten everything up, because if you remember on the last one I got a wire trapped underneath that part, and I've just dropped the screw, which made it sit forward and was catching the switches, so the switches wouldn't work properly. Right. No, it wasn't that part they were catching on. So I'll just get the other half of the switch housing wherever I've put it. I might also have to knock you off in a second because I can't remember where I've put the screws for these. In a little packet somewhere. But if I get it put together like this so far, that looks as if it's going to be absolutely spot on this time. And looking at that, you can actually see it wiring in down through this slot, and it doesn't look as if I've got anything caught this time, which is good, so I'll just nip that up. And then obviously find the groove, get the handlebar part in, twist it round so it's in line with the groove. Then obviously the top switch cover can go on. That's that. Right, I'm just going to knock you off for a second because I need to find the new chrome screws that came with this, because I can't for the life of me remember where I've put them. Right, I'll just be a minute. Back in a sec. Right, found the screws. They were underneath a box that I'd put there. Disorganised at the minute, very disorganised. Right, I'm just going to put these screws in. I won't tighten them up yet because I want to obviously position the wiring and stuff so it's in the right place. Plus I need to turn these this grip until it's in the right place. That's it. Right, I'll position so it's in line with the groove that I was on about. Tap it so it's all the way up, and then just give it a couple of mil, and then tighten this one up. I'm going to get my head in the way for a second. Right, nice and tight. Wiring's going in the groove nicely in line with the slot of the housing. Everything's free on that one because obviously, as I said earlier, I didn't catch the wire this time. So I've got two things to do here. Obviously I've got to put the clutch cable back on, but I've got to get it in the right place, obviously. Come on, don't be an arse. Right, just need to get this, the wiring needs to come up the slot in this, in the bottom housing. It needs to push in and up, and then when the thing comes on, it clears like there. It's actually clearing, but it's not in the handlebar part properly. So right, Right, that's a pain in the ass. Right, I'm just going to knock you off a minute and get myself some gloves on because I'm getting covered in fucking grease again. I'm back in a minute. Right, I've had a bit of a look here. See what's going on with us catching this cable underneath. And when I was pushing it up, I should have been pushing it in as well. That's why it was just sticking right on the corner, and we're just catching that bit of this clamp. But now I've sussed it and pushed the wire in, the clamp actually goes into place, no problem. So I just need to get all that screwed back. I've loosened that off a touch as well to make it easier to get that on. So I'll just get the other half of the clamp. The screws. I'm going to get this thing put in position. One thing I did as well off camera, by the way, was I actually put that underneath to see if it would fit with this wire, and it doesn't, so I'm just going to have to come right over the pedestal and just bring it in and just put a cable tie around here. It exactly the same as how I've done it on the electric glide. I had to bring it right across all the pedestal and clamps, but it's strange. Same size, just seems to have the what do we call it, cable in an odd position. Maybe just me actually. I know I've just moved that out of your view, but yeah, I think that'll be fine actually once it's all clipped back into place. So, just nip these screws back up on the actual switch housing should I say. Puncture it all freely. Obviously the clutch cable's going to need adjusted. If you remember, I adjusted it till there was full play. That'll get sorted in a moment. I just need to nip them up actually, so find me my ratchet. Just give these a nip up. Then obviously there's the mirror to put through and the indicator to put back on. On the other side, I forgot to, when I put the indicator back up, I should have threaded the indicator through the throttle cables because the wiring's in the wrong place. But bear in mind, it doesn't really matter that much because there's a batwing fairing going to be going on this when it turns up. And the indicators will need relocated anyways. So when I put I'll put these cables running down with them in the actual bar. I'll show you what I mean, because I can't remember what they're called. A cable clamp that goes into the bars. It's two on each piece, one here and one just further down. When I put them on, I'll have the main wiring out the switch housing and the heated grips wiring will go through them, but the indicator wire won't. They'll just temporarily, that'll just cable tie to these wires, the same on the other side. And as I say, if she wants to use the bike, she can go out on the bike, but then when the batwing fairing comes, I'm not having to take these off to get the wiring out. So, but now I've got this far, and before I put my mirror on, I'm going to feed this thing underneath. It's got a nice little groove that it can sit in, and then it can come up and it can join onto the handlebar wiring, but I'm going to put a cable tie around here as I say, so I better get one out. It's got little ones on it, so find the cable ties here. It's got the right size. Just a tad too small, that one. Right, I'm just going to knock you off for a minute, find some cable ties. Right, put a cable tie around here, and it's actually a cable tie that came in the kit with the heated grips. So what I'm going to do is put these bar clamps in, and then what I might do is put a couple of cable ties around these as well, just to make sure they stay together. With this being folded like a concertina, if I hold it up you can see there, it takes a while for it to settle, so if I cable tie it on it'll pull it to the shape of the handlebar, of the original wiring anyways. Right, and don't get that on the wrong side, which I just fucking have. Well, hopefully this is a girlfriend back. Right. Then that can all go down there, and then it feeds through the headlight cowl. I'll show you in a minute. Feeds through the headlight cowl and then back out through the yokes and under the tank. So, right, I'm just going to knock you off for a minute. Right, I've put a couple of cable ties, one there and one down here, just to hold this wire to the original switchgear wiring. Now I need to, I don't think you're going to be able to see this, I'm going to turn my bars. Not my bars anyway. But just there's a hole that goes through the big chrome cowl that's over the headlight. And the wiring goes down through it and then comes back out in between the yokes and off down under the tank. So I need to feed it down through there. So that's all this. And I'm hoping that the fuse holder is going to go through the hole. It looks as if it will. Plus I need to take that block off. You know, I had the block on when I tested them with the fuse on it. I need to take that off. So that's handy. Oh. There's take that block off. Stick that over here out the way. Yeah, and also if I can get them out, which I can. When I was on about underneath here with about the groove where the wiring runs in, found my old bars off my other bike. That's the groove I'm on about. So you've got your handlebar grip part comes up to here, and with the switch housing, and the wiring comes off the switch housing and sits in that groove, and the clamp of the pedestal comes over that bit, and then obviously that's a hole for one of the bar clamps. Should be another one. There it is. So that's the groove I was on about before. For both, it's on both sides of the handlebars. So when I was saying about the groove, that's what I was talking about. So I think what I'll do is I'll just I'm just going to turn these bars because I need them the other way anyway, and I'll just take it off here. I'll find the clip. Right, turn the screen so I can see. That's the hole, and as you can see there, the wiring's running through it, and then it comes out. That's the indicator wire, and that's the clutch. But as you can see there, you maybe can't see there, but as you can see here, there's wiring that's coming out of here. So I just need to feed all this lot through and get it, and then I can follow the line down to the other end of down to here, feed it in through the tank and into there, and I can wire it all in properly then. So I'm just going to knock you off for now while I get the wire fed through there and out of the back of the yoke, and then we'll go from there. Okay, back soon. Right, I've got the wire in, fed through the top of the yoke and out through the back, and it's just dangling down at the floor at the minute. So I'm now going to put this mirror back on and the indicator. So make sure it's on the right side this time. And as I say, I'll temporarily I'll temporarily cable tie the wiring for the indicator onto here, and then when the back wing fairing turns up, it'll just get snipped off and then relocated the indicators. So job done, it'd be cool. So I'm just nipping these mirrors up for now. I'm not tightening them up properly because when I get sat on the bike properly I can position where they're meant to be, and then I'll tighten them up properly. But it just gets it on. And next thing I'm going to do, in fact I'll do it now, I might just change you around position wise, so I'll knock you off a second, I'll come back in. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the clutch cable. So, get myself down here. Now the clutch adjuster is obviously down the cable. I'm just turning it now to start taking the, if I pull that lever out, see how the lever's pulling in. Now because I haven't done anything with the clutch in the housing, like just operate a few times so everything gets settled, and then what I want is a little bit of, that's not far off actually, that. Yeah, that's enough. So just a tiny little bit of play on your, and that I can feel, because I've got my fingers on the adjuster down at the bottom, I can feel soon as you take any pressure on the cable, you can feel the actual outer cable move as it takes the tension. So I'm going to leave that as it is, and then I'll tighten this lock nut up on the clutch, and that's then the clutch as it should be. And then I'll put tighten the lock nut up properly, put the rubber cover over the adjuster, and then put the clip back on. There's a clip that goes around the frame which I've got just here. That clip goes on the frame and the clutch cable runs through that. It pinged off when I was adjusting it last time, so I just left it off for now. Once I've got it all set thing, I'll just put that back on, and then that's everything on the handlebars adjusted back. Obviously first chance I get I'll take it for a quick run, just make sure everything is right on it before she rides it again. But I'll just knock you off again for now. I'll get this lock nut tightened up and the cover put back on. Okay, back soon. Right, take the tank off. I've already loosened the bolts. So basically that at that end, same at the other end. Just get them off and stick them to one side. Everything about this bike is covered in grease, which isn't a bad thing at all, but it's a pain in the ass when you're getting it all over your fingers. I'll take this front one off. Just stick that in for now. So that's basically what's front and back of the tank. And now, as you can see there and there, the tank's now loose, which will enable me to chock it up. I'll put like a block underneath this end so it sits up, and then I can feed my wiring through down the frame. So what I'll do is I'll just knock you off for a second and I'll get a couple of blocks sorted out underneath the tank, and then we'll come back. Right, what we've got here, if I can get myself orientated, that wire there, if I can even point at the right one, that wire there, That's the heated grips wire, and it's coming along. It's gone behind the vent pipe, well, through the thing with the vent pipe, and then it's going up the side of the tank. I'll try and shine in there. Obviously at the minute it's sitting, it's fell down. I mean, I'll sort it in a minute and get a couple of cable ties around it. Now it's carrying on under the tank. I don't know if I'll be able to see this. I'll just push the tank back over. Right, you can see there's the wiring coming down from under the tank. That's where it's going to come down, and it'll come onto here, runs down under here, which, as you can see there, when I move that, it moves all that lot in there as well. It's just a case of feeding it through. I mean, I can get my finger through there, so it's just a case of feeding it in and bringing it out of here. So, just so you keep up to date as to what I'm doing. So I'll knock you off again. I'll get it fed down to here and through into there, and then I'll come back. Okay, right, I'm back again. Right, the tank's back down, bolted in place. The wiring's through, as you can see there. Now, I showed you where I was going to run it. The cables have been cable tied in. Sorry, the wiring's been cable tied in, so it's secure. And then obviously the tank was put back in place. Obviously it's been fed through there, as you can see. So now what's left to do is splice into this, should I say, and get me 3 wires that I was on about in an earlier video, because you've got the switchable live, the permanent live, as in the battery live, and your earth are all 3 wires that you need are all in here. So I'll splice into these with wires, and then I'll use I'll just get one. I'll use one of these connectors, but this one's a 4 wire connector, as you can see on there. You maybe can't see actually, but there are 4 holes on the end of there. But I've got them in 3s and 2s and singles. So I'll use a 3 one, and I'll get they'll be spliced off there, 3 wires coming up into a connector. I'll then wire these onto a connector. There'll be another inline fuse. That main inline fuse is the one for the main power, but the switchable live, that has a 2 amp fuse on it, and I have got an inline fuse holder for that, so that'll be wired in as well. It'll all be heat shrunk, but on these connections I'll use the one that has adhesive inside that melts and seals it all, so it's all nice waterproof connectors. So I'll crack on and do this bit, and then I'll come back and show you what I've done. I'll just keep coming back and show you bits and pieces. I'm not going to video it all, because half the time you won't be able to see now, because I'll be in the way. So I'll knock you off for now and I'll come back.